Hi guys, in this video I wanted to solve a LeetCode problem, but I thought that solving it just a simple way in a code, in an imperative code, in line, wouldn't be this funny. Like, so I thought, why don't just spin up a couple of AWS resources and with their help try to solve it. And here's what I'll do. First, I'll create a DynamoDB table, and which will have a partition key of a value of the number itself, and a sort key, which is optional, is going to be there, its index. And from an example of a typical solution, we would first create a hash map and then go through each number from the array and look up their complement. And if this complement is in there, we just grab the index and return an array of current index number and its complement one. Instead, we're going to be going through the array of numbers and calling Lambda functions that will call DynamoDB from their code. And in their DynamoDB, they will get sort of in a hash map example way number that has this value, and if it's in there, it's going to grab its index and return it. So this is why I created this setup, just for setting up those resources. In here you can see that I just create a table, then I create a new role that I will use for attaching it to a Lambda handle. I just attach a basic policy for this role to the basic service role policy to this AWS Lambda that will be created. And I also create and attach a new policy that states that this identity or this service that has this policy will be allowed to make query requests and getting in or putting items to the table with the IRN that we got in here. Then I just go through the loop and create three functions. So let's try to run the setup.ts. Got our table created, we got our policy attached to the new role, but we got an error. And I think the role defined for the function can be assigned by Lambda. I think this is because the role is not propagated yet. Let's just retry it. I think it just needed some time, but the sleep function in here somewhere, it wasn't enough to propagate it. So I think it should be okay in some time. Expression. Okay, this is already another problem. Value to some Lambda handler. Okay, let me just grab it from IAM in the dashboard. Let's go to policy, node roles, some lambda handler. Here's the IRN. Oh, I know what was the problem. Yeah, I just forgot to put my account ID in here. Okay. Let me just go back and yeah, like so. So let's try again. Okay, there's another problem now with syntax error. What did I do? Let me roll back. Okay. All right, so the role is propagated and we got our functions deployed. So then I created this test case generator, and it just makes a array of nums and the target for the test. And all of the numbers, they comply to these constraints. They go from minus 1 billion to plus 1 billion. And just for the max length array, I specified 1000 in here. So let's try running the generate test case. It generates us this JSON file along with expected output in here. And let's go through the index.ts file. So in here, we just grab some info that will be needed for running the script, like URLs of the function handlers, which we will go and do an HTTP request to them. And we also grab the data that was generated for the test case. Then we have two scripts for cleaning up and seeding DynamoDB. And a utility function for making a request, and the main script is just gets the numbers, gets the target, cleans up the DynamoDB, seeds it back, and in here it goes through the numbers and it creates an array of promises where each promise is looks like this. It just gets the complement for the current target and calculates it, and then gets the handler that will be processing processing a request from the given complement, and then it makes a GET request to this handler specifying a value that needs to be found in the DynamoDB, but excluding index of the current number. So in case it's a pair of two the same numbers that will comply, it won't give to the same indexes. And just because I can hit some parallel limit invocations on AWS Handler, I made a utility function that retries the request. And then if the complement item is not found, the promise rejects, and if it is found, it returns an array of indexes. And then having this array of promises, we just do promise.any, which will resolve as soon as one of them resolves or all of them rejects. Yeah, and then we just validate the result. So let's run this script. So it sees the table, and then it makes lots of requests for getting a complement. And here it found this. The result is the same as in our test case, which is 75. Number of is index 75 and 460. And so for 1,000 items, it was in about 11 seconds, which is too much. I mean, yeah, this is like a lot. So let's just go through the resources that we created. We got 3 functions in here and a new table in DynamoDB. Let's explore items. Yeah, as you see, here is the value, here is the index of them. So before ending this video, let's just run the cleanup, which Claude wrote from me, so that we don't leave any resources, unnecessary resources. So table got deleted. Lambda functions also got deleted, along with all roles we created. So that's it. Thank you for watching.